Hello everyone. We are going to do a Q&A. I put a little PSA on Instagram to ask if you had any questions. Let's do it. So let me open up these questions here and we will get into it. How are you staying motivated? Well, motivated for what? That is the question of the day. Honestly, sometimes I just can't. I just can't and I don't and I just take the time to chill or whatever. I'm pretty realistic with myself recently. Like, we have to remember we're not getting a lot of outlets of stress relief and that sort of thing. So it makes sense that we're not super motivated right now, and I think pushing myself too hard right now wouldn't really be beneficial for anybody or anything. So I wouldn't say I'm super motivated, but I just think if I catch a wave of energy, okay, I'll film this video, but if I don't, then I won't. And I'm kind of living like that. How do you get brands to work with you? Do you need an agent? I need guidance. Well, you don't need an agent. If you don't have one, you don't need to run out and get one if you're a small creator. I think you only really need an agent when it gets to a point where you can't manage it yourself anymore. I did not have an agent for many years in the beginning. There was just no need for one, and I was handling everything myself, although I had no idea what I was doing, and I was doing all this stuff that should have been paid for content but wasn't. So that's a good example of why you need an agent sometimes, because I didn't really know my worth. I didn't know anything about the industry, but that was back then. It was a much different time to what it is now. I feel like a lot of creators now are super savvy, even before they kind of start working with brands. So it's a little bit different, I guess, from when I started 10 years ago. But usually just put the email in your bio or have it on your website. And if a brand wants to get in touch with you, they can just email you and you can speak directly to the brand. It works in lots of different ways, I would say. Where do you think you'd be living now if you never moved to London? Well, for those of you who don't know, I'm Canadian originally, and I moved to London about 10 years ago. And I find it really hard to think about where I would be if I didn't move to London, because it could be anywhere. I could be living in Mars. In Mars? On Mars. I could be living on Mars. But yeah, I don't really know. I definitely think I would have tried to move out of Canada just because I always kind of had that ambition for myself. But I'm not sure, honestly. I have no idea, but I love living here. Office interior design plans, ? Well, I'm going to do a little reel on Instagram of the office update. If you want to see an office tour here on YouTube, then just let me know. I'm happy to film that. It's coming along quite well, actually, and I was just thinking the other day that I didn't really show you what it looked like. So I will get on that. So let me know if you want to see that on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. But otherwise, we'll be doing it on Reels. Do you feel like life is on pause because of the pandemic, and how are you coping? Honestly, I have waves. Sometimes I feel so much is slipping away, and all of these memories that we could be making and all of those things, sometimes I really get into my head about all the stuff that I'm missing out on and that everybody's missing out on. But I wouldn't say that I feel like my life is on pause. I've actually had a lot of personal and spiritual internal growth for the past year. So I wouldn't say that it was a wasted year either. I will say it was a very different year. I would say it's probably not how I would have chosen to spend my year, but I think that I did the best that I could with the situation as well. But obviously some days have just been so hard, not going home for Christmas and not being able to see my family for so long. That is not great. How do you deal with stress? What helped you to learn how to deal with it? I don't know if I'm the right person to be asking about stress, because I can get quite stressed quite easily. Not so much at people around me, but just within myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and when things don't work out a certain way, I just get very stressed or disappointed quite easily. But I think carving out time to I was going to say workout, but I haven't worked out in a long time. But in my head, I work out a lot. But just carving out time for yourself, whether that's just stretching, yoga, something with your body, any type of movement that's getting out of your head is just so good for stress. And like on the weekends, I take Effie for nice long walks in the wilderness, and all of that stuff really helps with stress. And having very clear boundaries between, you know, your work life and your personal life, I think also really, really helps with stress, because on the weekend, I don't want to be thinking about anything other than chilling. So I think that helps. How is your hair doing with the pink hair dye? I want to do mine, but worried it won't wash out. Well, I am proof that it will wash out. I'll put up a picture of what my hair looks like. I'll put it here, of what my hair looked like when I just dyed it pink. It was so bright and it was fun. It was really, really fun. But I also thought it is not going to wash out. And here I'll post a picture of it after maybe like 3 washes, something like that. And now I've washed my hair probably 5 or 6 times, and there's like a tiny little bit of pink, but it's all washed out. And if I wanted to maintain it, I could have just kept using the pink shampoo and conditioner, but I actually just decided that I miss my blonde hair. I mean, we don't even need to discuss the roots, but you know what? We are going to have to make it work. It's not great, but it is what it is. Phrase of the past year. It is what it is. And yes, so it does wash out. It was by a brand called Bleach. I'll link to the dye down below. They've got loads of colors. I had a great experience with it. I'm like not someone who dyes their hair bright colors ever. So if I can do it and it can wash out, so can you. It was fun. What do you wish you were brave enough to do but aren't quite there yet? Probably to run like a half marathon or something. I would see, I was just going to say I would never be able to do it. We need to retrain this. I would be able to do it if I trained for it properly, but I don't think I'm quite in the phase of my life where I want to do that. But I think it would be so cool. I have so much respect for people who run marathons and do half marathons. I just think it's so cool, and I would love to do it one day. I think it's awesome. What are your upcoming business plans? Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys should go check out the link in my bio on Instagram. Wink, wink. What are 3 things that are part of your night routine? Well, I always take Effie out to go outside, to go to the bathroom, obviously. And then when we get back inside, I make a nice cup of herbal tea, something with no caffeine. And then I usually read my book for about 15 or 20 minutes before I fall asleep. And what else do I do? My skincare. That's my night routine. Love it. Can't wait for that moment tonight when I'm fresh with the skincare. I got my herbal tea and my book. Ugh, it's bliss. Would you want to have kids someday? Oh my gosh. Yes, I would. Maybe one day. Best pizza in London? ? Well, I will say I had pizza from a place called Yard Sale, and it was so good. So I don't know if it's the best, but I really do like it. And a lot of my friends say it's the best, so I'm going with them. They know more about pizza than I do. I like all pizza. How to get through and overcome depression? Well, as you guys all know, I've had depression pretty much my entire life. I don't know. It's a very long story, and I won't get super into it. But I actually just recorded a podcast. I was a guest on someone's podcast, and they were asking me about medication for my depression and my anxiety. And I was like, you know what? I've been off my medication for 6 months, and I feel really great. And, I'm not against medication, but I personally don't feel like I need it right now. And I don't know what was going on, because I really genuinely felt that way. And then I had a moment, it was a personal moment where I just felt so low. And because I've been on medications pretty much since I was in my early 20s. And I was talking to my mom on the phone. I was in the car and I was crying and oh God, it was just so typical of me. And I was I don't know what to do. And then my mom's well, Estée, you've been pretty emotional lately. And I was have I been really emotional lately? I genuinely just had no self-awareness about where my levels were. And it was kind of a bit of an intervention where my mom was I think maybe you should consider maybe going back on the medication and that whole sort of thing. She was just no pressure, but just think about it. And it was the first time it dawned on me that I actually wasn't okay again. And I think if you're someone who has depression and is coming on and off medication, I tend to do, because I get on the medication, I feel amazing. After 6 months on the medication, I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. I feel awesome. I don't need this. I don't need to be on this medication. And then you get off it for the first couple months, you feel fine. And then it's just like the same routine of just like going down, 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 down again. And then not realizing like how far and how low you've actually become. I mean, this is just my experience. And I know that like it's controversial to talk about medication, but for me, it's something that has completely changed my life. If I look at myself last week compared to this week, it's like I'm a completely different person. Not in like the way I am and the way I, am as a person, but just in the way that I have been getting through life. I don't have to sleep all day. I'm not exhausted. I don't feel like I'm having to like push through all this shit all the time. I just feel so much lighter. And yeah, I'm so happy that I went back on this medication. So I'm only talking about this because I saw one of my other friends, her name's Rosianna. She was talking about changing the dose of her medication, and I don't know, I just thought it does take like a lot of strength to talk about it, and you do get a lot of backlash from people being like, our society is over-medicated, da 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 da. But you know what? It helps me. I love to be happy, so I would like to be taking it, and I'm just trying to be more open about that. So anyway, how are you getting through depression? Well, I thought I was getting through it well. I think just with the pandemic and the fact that like I can't do things that would have normally helped me in my anxiety, I think it's a good thing that I'm back on the meds. What are the essentials for a first-time bathtub owner? Well, I filmed an empties video, and that's coming up right after this, and I featured loads of bath products in there. So take a look in that video coming up very soon. How do you avoid falling into a deep, dark hole of your own thoughts? Well, that is literally one of my favorite pastimes. But seriously, like I said earlier, it's about getting out of your head and back in your body. Like all this stuff that's going on in your brain, like you need to figure out a way to get out of there and stop just like spiraling. And I mean, I do this all the time. Do 15 jumping jacks. Just do something. Move around, dance. I know it sounds so annoying, but it genuinely helps. Go for a walk. Just, change the train of thought. Are you still applying for British citizenship? How's that going? Yes, so I've put my application in, and now I think I just have to wait. I'm just like waiting. So I have no idea what's happening. I hope I get it, but I'm not sure. And I'll answer one or two more. Oh, how do you like your Peloton so far? So I just bought a Peloton. Well, I bought it a long time ago, but it just got delivered. And I did my first ride this morning, and it was so fun. And I'm going to do a first impressions video of that once I've had the bike for a while. So far, I'm like very, very hooked. I think it's awesome. I'm super excited about it. And one more question. Do you get angry sometimes because EFFIE is difficult? No, I wouldn't say I get angry. I have been angry. I'm not angry about it. I would say sometimes I get frustrated, not at her, but just about the situation. But I've let go of like most of the frustration and the anger, and now it's more just about like creating an environment that's helpful to her. I have really slowed down with EFFIE. I love her. I don't know where she is. She's probably hiding behind the bathtub right now because she's like, it's windy outside, and I would like to pretend that that's not happening. So she's a very special girl, and she just needs like extra tenderness, extra chill, extra calm, but she's also super playful like inside and stuff like that. So we just go at EFFIE's pace, and no, I would never get angry at her. Like, EFFIE is literally doing the best that she can, and how can you ever want anything more out of anyone, especially a dog? Like, she is doing her best, and I love her so much. I wish she was here. I'd give her a big hug. I saw the other day, like, either on Instagram or something, was like, Estée hates EFFIE or something like that. Estée does not like her dog, and I was like, I don't know where people get these ideas, but I love EFFIE. She is my everything. I am, if anything, too obsessed with her, and I wouldn't want to live my life without EFFIE at all, ever. Like, she's my everything. Like, just let's back it up. She's my everything. She is my heart. She is my soul. So on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you guys like this video. The sun is like beaming into my face. I feel like I should have worn sunglasses. My jacket is from Paloma Wool, and I actually forgot to put all my jewelry on because I took it off to work out this morning. So yeah, that's weird. But normally my jewelry would be from Daisy. I've got all my earrings in, of course. I will see you later. Bye, everyone.